Okay, so this is Frogriders. In this game, I currently have it set up for a two-player game, which means you take out some of the frogs and you don't place anything on the outside green lily pads. These lily pads in a two-player game are just null and void. You can't ever jump to them. They're just, imagine they don't exist. In a 3 and 4 player game, we use more frogs and we do fill up the outside area. This center area is the start space. The point of the game is to get the most points, and how you're getting points is by jumping over frogs and collecting them. So in the beginning of the game, you'll really only have a few moves. You could jump here, 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 over here. Once you make the jump, you collect a frog that you jumped over, and then it's the next player's turn. Once that first jump happens, then obviously more options to jump are available to you. So every turn you have to make a jump, and if you ever cannot make a jump, then the game is over. So you always have to make a jump. After you make a jump, you can choose to take a secondary action, which is to turn in a frog into the village and then do some kind of special secondary action that's listed on the board. These are brown frogs. They are the most plentiful in the game, but there's yellow, which are the rarest, and then red, and then blue in that order. So brown frogs are just worth 1 victory point at the end of the game, so every brown frog you have is 1 victory point. That's great. The yellow frogs, none of the other frogs are actually worth any victory points unless you complete some objectives. So at the start of the game, there's going to be 2 face-up objectives, and that's essentially saying that for every yellow and blue frog you've collected at the end of the game, you're going to score 3 victory points. And this is for every red and brown frog you've collected, you're going to score 2 victory points. So you can use these interchangeably. So if there was something like, let's say, something like this out there, and you had 2 red frogs and 1 brown frog, 2 red frogs would still count 5 points, and then your 1 red frog, even though you already used it to score here, you would also use it to score here. So that would get you another 7 points. So that's how you're scoring victory points on there. Another way you score victory points is that you have a private objective, which this is a secret, it's kept face down. And this tells you that if you collect a yellow, a brown, and a red, you're also going to score 3 victory points. So that's secret for each player. Everybody has their own private objective. Another way you can score victory points is these public, what are they called? The privilege cards. So certain privilege cards will just have victory points listed right on there. That is just straight victory points at the end of the game. Other cards might have negative victory points, so this counts as a negative victory point at the end of the game, but it also counts as if you had 2 yellow frogs in your possession. These privilege cards are usually things that get you extra frogs. They could be things that get you extra victory points, like this one says if you ever have one on this card and you jump a frog and it lands on a space with a flower, that earns you 1 victory point. And if you had multiples of these, it would earn you a multiple victory point for each card you had. Some of them also allow you to do cool, different types of jumps. So this one, for instance, normally you're always only going to jump in a straight line. This one allows you to jump in an L shape. There's other ones that allow you to jump diagonals. There's ones that allow you to jump, move forward and then jump over a frog. And this one, like this one right here, actually allows you, this one, when you jump a frog, so if you collected this, you would jump, normally you collect whatever frog you had jumped, but this card allows you to collect the frog that you used to jump. So that's a neat little extra ability as well. So as I said, you collect frogs and then you can turn them into the village. Now, if you turn a yellow frog into the village and there was any other frogs in the village, you could take whatever color frog was in the village into your supply. If you turn in a red frog, that allows you to make a second jump. But when you make a second jump, you can't turn a second frog into the village. You can only do that once per turn. And then the blue frogs, if you turn in a blue frog, that's what allows you to get these privilege cards. So you can't get them until you turn in a blue frog. So as I said, the game is over once someone is unable to make a jump, and then that's it. Nobody else gets any other turns. And then we just tally up points, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner. We have our score tracker right here as well, so everybody gets a color to go along with. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks.